I pretty much watched beginning of Super Bowl. I watched like a lot of. They have like a video of like the last 10 years of halftime performances, and I can't. Yeah, I don't know who else they're gonna pull out. To be honest with you, in the last number of years, we've had Kendrick, we've had random assortment medley of hip hop. Dr. Dre and the gang. Yeah, The Weeknd. We had who's before that? I think it was Jennifer Lopez and Shakira. Before that might have been, I forgot who else was before that. But these last 10 years, I'm like, damn, I don't know who else would do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With that said, I thoroughly enjoyed the performance this week. And let's bring it together, and if you're upset, you're weird. You know what I'm saying? In terms of just like, not like if you feel like this is like disgraceful to America, like you're
America
weird.
itself is disgraceful. Let's be
Yeah,
clear.
absolutely.
America itself is disgraceful. But we're going to kick off the news here. Bron Breakker, big news. This came out literally. No one knew like this was even a thing. This was going on. In fact, I think he's already even had the surgery or is en route to get the surgery. But he had a hernia injury and has to undergo surgery. He injured himself on a spot that like I truly was just like, what? I was like, because he looked fine after he did it last week when he lifted the table.
I'm looking at it now. That's a pretty heavy table.
Yeah, I'm like, what were you?
I'm looking at it now. I was like, damn, my table. Actually, I'm hitting myself with the actually. Like, that's not the old tables. You remember the old tables, the old Raw tables? You could tip them, and they fold together.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? This one, they got LED screens. It looks heavy.
It just seems like such a freak accident, like a super freak accident, and just awful timing. I think that like when you look at what's been planned, and I said this too in our chat. I was like, this
don't look like he hurt himself on this table. I'm watching it now. He tipped that over real quick.
Adrenaline will do anything. You know what I'm saying? Adrenaline will do everything.
Sure.
To keep you feeling like you didn't, like nothing ever happened, right? But like ultimately, this is from what Meltzer says, this is a 12 to 6 month recovery time.
12 week to 6 month, according to him.
6 months, yeah.
But to be honest with you, like most things, I don't know if he actually knows. I think he's garnering that. I mean, if you can do research, you can do the time it takes to recover from a hernia. Currently, one of our player on the Knicks, Deuce McBride, he's suffering from a hernia. It was just reported like a week ago, so they could do a trade without it being like collateral for doing a trade. Like, this nigga's hurt. Let's up the price on these niggas. So he's gonna be out. They said anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks. Which would bring him back in time for the playoffs. And of course, the playoffs start the same week as WrestleMania, to be honest with you. So to be honest with you, unless he actually knows like the diagnosis, how severe this hernia injury is, I don't think he actually knows. Because Fightful reported that WWE sources are optimistic that he will return in time for WrestleMania 42. And Meltzer is kind of like saying, like, 12 weeks. First of all, we need to do 12 weeks. You could have just said 3 months to fucking 4 months, like, or 3 months to 6 months. He said 12 weeks to like 6. And not that I'm, that may be a time to recover from it, but it's also, you say 3 months to 6 months. That's a large range.
A large window. Yeah, like that's SummerSlam.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's a large range. Like, so what is it really? You know what I'm saying? If you were aware of the diagnosis, I think you would have a tighter timeline than that. But if I had to imagine, considering everything for WrestleMania this year, I'm assuming they're going to target WrestleMania. The storyline hasn't been dropped. nothing has seemingly shifted on the show from the direction of what it was that it would if he wasn't going to make WrestleMania. So I feel like they're playing it by ear, and I feel like by Elimination Chamber time,
they should know.
We should know, essentially.
So considering that we did not know where this storyline was going, because it was also predicated on another person that was potentially coming back from an injury, what do you think they do here now? Like I'm completely lost as to what they could do.
Unless they had plans for. So let's say Bron Breakker can't make WrestleMania, right? And you have Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is still one of the biggest stars in the company. Albeit an injury, he's still doing football talking heads. He's still doing press. He's still appearing at the Super Bowl. He's still out there. His shoulder looks, you look all right. I didn't see him throw a football or nothing, but you know what I'm saying?
He gonna work us for life on every injury.
Yeah.
So you just got to expect that.
So I'm expecting he will be there. If Braun isn't there, I'm still expecting he will be there in some way or the other. In terms of what capacity,
we don't know. I mean, there's obviously, to me, makes more sense, and we'll talk about it on Raw, that like Logan is stepping into a role here, and we're noticing that. But really bad timing. There's a potential for two really huge baby faces returns, like with Seth and with Braun. It's just how you play it out. I don't know. It's just really bad timing. But it could be really interesting timing for other people on that roster, whether it's Obafemi or Javon Evans, who might not have really had, you know what I'm saying? Who might not have really had a role going into the show, but could have a bigger role. You know what I mean? So
you're absolutely right. Yeah.
It might be, next man up, and they just brought on 3 people that can go at any time. And
hey, they might. I don't know if they have plans for Brock Lesnar, but
yeah.
I would imagine you would have plans for Brock Lesnar leading into Vegas as he is in the commercial. So I would imagine you would have tentative plans for Brock Lesnar, but if he isn't in any of the major title scenes, he's clearly going to probably be part of one of these storylines. If Seth reveals himself early, Paul Heyman will have to break the Brock button, breaking case of emergency with Brock.
I would just run Brock ASAP at that point.
Yeah.
And do Brock Gunther at Mania, and then do Brock Gunther at SummerSlam.
Oh, okay.
Like rip the Band-Aid off. We know what's going down. We know what's up. So just rip the Band-Aid off.
I don't think niggas don't really want to cheer Brock though, right? I don't know.
Niggas don't want to cheer Brock. Did you hear him when he came out?
I guess so, yeah.
Niggas absolutely want to
morally cheer. I don't want to cheer Brock, but yes, I'm here.
I mean, morally you don't have to. You know what I'm saying? But he's still incredibly popular regardless of like what people try and say about him. He's still popular, so
no, that's true. They
found the best person to put against him. You know what I mean? Like that. Like they're not going to cheer Gunther over Brock. So,
I hope not.
Yeah, they're not going to cheer Gunther. So, I mean, they're going to cheer Brock. So, bad timing all around, though. We'll see what happens next week. I'm fairly certain that he will be getting that surgery sooner than later.
You kind of see why. I don't know if this was always the reason. Maybe it was just because it was a pay-per-view model of why storylines would go from month to month instead of like these long arcs, because someone usually gets injured. Like they're trying to tell this Liv Rhea story, and in the middle of it, Rhea gets injured, and then Rhea comes back, and then Liv gets injured, and then Liv has to come back. I don't think they're telling any story with the Intercontinental title currently, but Dom injured comes back.
Everyone, it's a bad bug, but thankfully they have the talent to supplant it, and it hasn't been like in the past where.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And to be fair, like generally all the women have been healthy, which is
absolutely
crazy. But WrestleMania 42, we've been talking about it. it's where it's in the danger zone. And
Hey,
I think that we get into a lot of conversation points here, but people are saying that people are upset because Triple H keeps changing Mania plans. They're saying that a lot of the Mania plans are up in the air because of the ticket sales are being a little flatter than usual for WrestleMania this year. I think there's a lot that goes into this. And I think there's a lot that goes into it. And I think that, as usual, Meelz, a lot of the conversation is disingenuous at best when you talk about this specific thing. Because it's the same type of arguments that they use for the other companies, right?
Yeah, no, for sure.
The market, money, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
I bookmarked a tweet just for this moment.
Okay.
So I don't know if you're familiar with this user named Suit Williams on Twitter.
Oh God, I don't even know what he's saying.
He says, and I'll say this because I do feel like, again, I think people flippantly, I said this weekend, people flippantly use the term bad faith. I think, as you pointed out, there is a lot more nuance to this argument that WWE is down than just WrestleMania tickets are down in Vegas. But he says, and I'll read the entire thing. WWE is a promotion on the back end of a hot streak, running on an institutional confidence that has transformed into blind arrogance. The road to WrestleMania last year was a complete mess, building matches that never happened and failing to build the matches that actually happened, leading to the cold set of shows and a universally panned main event. The John Cena retirement tour was one of the biggest wasted opportunities in that company history, right up there with the WCW invasion. They spent months. This was a little bit more. They spent months focusing on Netflix shows around Jey Uso and Seth Rollins to no one's benefit, and their complete lack of elevating anyone new during the hot streak has led to relying on a beat-down, ice-cold Drew McIntyre to be the foil for Cody Rhodes, who himself is as cold as he's been since coming back. They had a terrible 2025, yet still thought people were going to come running for WrestleMania tickets when they priced as high as they've ever been in the same city as last year's mediocre shows. This is blind arrogance and a slapdash mania card, and another messy build are only going to make these issues worse. So, a number of things I feel like just...
Tell us how you feel, brother.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think creatively WWE was at its peak this year, but say that they haven't elevated, there's a ton of stars on this show. They don't even have to have the same people in the main event if they don't want to. Cody Rhodes was gone for 3 months.
Yeah, they had different people in the main event every month.
John Cena was not full time.
And here's the thing: I don't even think creative this year thus far has been bad.
I don't think it's been bad either. When you look at WrestleMania and how it's panned out, I mean, we have CM Punk and Roman lining up. We have Liv Morgan potentially in the main event also on the other side. You have the Elimination Chamber kind of like setting the stage, but you have Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu in this role. You have Gunther being a hottest heel running on, at the best. You have the Women's Tag Team Championships, the hottest they've ever been. You have if they choose to go with anything for the United States Championship, Melo has been a great champion thus far, and they've proven to treat him as such. You have Obafemi, Javon Evans, Trick Williams in the fold. You still have Randy Orton over there waiting in the wings. You still have LA Knight over there waiting in the wings.
He's broken and beaten down. The Drew McIntyre part is crazy. I'm like, damn, does he agree with you for being broken and beaten down?
You have a new champion in all respects for this era. I mean, Drew McIntyre has been WWE champion before, but in terms of getting out of Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes as being the two figureheads, you have Drew McIntyre there to offer a foil for Cody Rhodes. So you're not doing the same thing as last year where he's returning and setting the stage for the main event. You have Cody chasing, which is seemingly the better position for him to be in.
100%. He should be chasing.
To me,
calling Cody as like cold as he's ever been is like crazy. I'm like,
yeah. And I think, in my opinion, if it was up to WWE, just the company itself, let's say they're not hired by TKO, they're in New Orleans. They don't go back to the same city twice.
True.
But the reality is, because of Endeavor, because of who owns Endeavor, because of everything kind of situated around there. And then also Las Vegas itself. WWE is proved.
They're paying them top dollar to do this. It's not and fuck the fans.
If anything, they've proven over the last year, they go to the highest bidder.
Yeah.
They don't go to what's going to be fly or something like, let's change it up. Let's hear the model that they had under Vince McMahon and everything like that is gone. They go to that's why WrestleMania next year is in Saudi Arabia. That's why Royal Rumble this year was in Saudi Arabia. That's why John Cena retired in Washington, D.C. and not in Boston.
That was Boston problem though. Well, they should have
paid the $5. Yeah. But it's proven that it's not necessarily arrogant of like, we can do Vegas again. It's that Vegas is paying us the most, so we're going to go there. And they're paying them the most because the nuance that we're talking about is that tourism in Vegas is down.
Yeah. And they are going to try and do everything that they can to get tourism back up. They did see that it hit last year. Mm-hmm. Before the bottom fell out, so to speak, right? Like the Mania hit for them last year, tourism wise. Show notwithstanding, there's still a lot of time left on the clock, Meelz, for the show to be whatever it could be. You know what I mean? We don't know. Like we've been saying on the show every single week, we can't call what's about to happen on Mania this year. We don't know. Like, we truly do not fucking know what's going to happen on this show. But ultimately, what exactly are we judging? Are we judging Vegas as a destination or WWE as a company? In that case,
and I think people are trying to do both.
You can't, because the Mania tickets notwithstanding, the live shows have been doing really well. They've still been selling out. Like, I don't see a slowdown there. However, Mania in Vegas, there, like you said, there's a lot of nuance there. It's this the second time in a row in the city, and I said I was skeptical about it before when they did it before. But there's also a lot of I think there's a lot of cachet in them creating a card that makes people actually say, "Damn, they're really trying to make up for next year."
Absolutely,
by all means, trying to make up for last year this year.
But also, price is high as fuck,
and that's everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely everywhere, but the destination to go to Vegas itself, spend in Vegas, live in Vegas, occupy Vegas for 2-3 days, along with going to, at this point, I would go to one night of WrestleMania. I would just pick I would pick one night and spend the other night watching it somewhere where I can enjoy it. But even then, right, there's been reports came out that people around Vegas, they're saying that they can't broadcast WrestleMania. You can't broadcast WrestleMania in the city of Vegas. Unless you're going to WrestleMania, they're not allowing any bars or stores or anything to broadcast WrestleMania there. And it's very clear that the entire city is like, we need motherfuckers here buying tickets to see this show. We need people breathing, sleeping, living, buying, spending everything in Vegas that weekend. It's not even Easter weekend this year. So there's no excuse if there's no holiday or whatever it is, church, where you ever got to go to. It's not Easter weekend this year. So they want people there. That's why we got CM Punk versus Roman Reigns, in my opinion. But I do think that
it's a great matchup. Like, even regardless of that, it's a great matchup. You almost feel like we should have got it last year.
I agree.
But I don't knock what they did last year, because ultimately, and we agreed, their match and the outcome of that match was the most interesting thing of all the main events last year.
I mean, we're still feeling the effects of that match this year from last year. Yeah. The fingerprints are still from everything from the Vision to CM Punk's year to Roman Reigns' year to everything like that. All of that begins at WrestleMania last year. This main event is built from all the issues that have occurred on the journey between that WrestleMania then and this WrestleMania now. That's why I'm so confused when people are like, yo, the build is shit. I'm like,
it's a year build.
These people have been in I won't say in lockstep, but you've seen Roman Reigns battle the Vision and everything for Seth Rollins. And it was supposed to build seemingly to Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns in that respect. Yeah. But you've seen at Survivor Series that kind of like crossing point where CM Punk and Roman Reigns have their little thing that ends up building and spinning off, and then Royal Rumble happens, and now we're here. But I feel like according to Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, it says before the Rumble they had a complete WrestleMania card. Now currently everything is up in the air. They're very disappointed with the advance. It's down about 18% last year, same time. I think they still fill it. This is how he gets out of that. I think they still fill it, but they are disappointed. The problem is that they think that changing a card that no one knows, because literally people know one match, so changing the card, it's not like they have a bad card out there. People aren't buying tickets. If that was the case, yeah, sure. Think about changing the card. They don't have a card out there. So there's been a lot of internal criticism of Paul Levesque as far as changing the plans, essentially like Vince McMahon. The problem is we don't know what the initial plans are for anything.
No, and nor do any of the people who I'm guessing are criticizing it, right? Because they wouldn't know either.
So to me, the argument that the card is completely changed around when we've literally only had 2 matches announced and we haven't seen it. It's not like last year. Last year they did skew a little because it was clearly heading to like Drew McIntyre versus the Bloodline.
Yeah, or
Roman. Well, Roman, yes, ultimately to Roman.
The babyface Bloodline, yeah.
And then they swerved out of that shit. But it happens. But I don't see that anything from this year. It seems like they're kind of really unless like something I could see. I mean, of course, last year also the John Cena heel turn, right? Mm-hmm. That comes out of like tickets. There aren't enough tickets for Toronto. They want to boost up sales for that, but then they also want to continue to make like this massive thing for WrestleMania. Could I see something big happening at Elimination Chamber again this year? Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
but ultimately, that only enhances the story. I don't know. I'm disappointed with the advance. It's down 18%. It's going to be down 18%. Niggas don't really want to go to Vegas.
Niggas don't. But we don't speak for all niggas though. Either.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. But it was. We said it when they changed the date. We said it's going to be hard to sell Vegas again. They're going to have to do everything possible.
That's why I said like the to me my view of when this reign ends lives or dies by the quality of this show and how people show up for it, right? I'm still not convinced the reign slows down based on like a lot of the way these shows have been selling out to, and March is about to be crazy month for them. MSG, all of that shit. Roman's on all those shows. Like I think that final push is very important, Meelz.
Yeah.
So like I think ultimately people will suck it up and go to Vegas, but Vegas as a city has to be and listen, I live close to Vegas. I never go. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I never go there, but there's no reason to. They got to make it as a city something to do. And I think WWE's trying to make that so. So, we'll see. There's still weeks left. There's like 60 something days left.
Yeah, essentially. And I think honestly, if there's no demand, ticket prices will go down. Mm-hmm. And that's best for everybody, right?
Ain't nothing going down anywhere. I don't know why people think WWE is exempt from the inflation that is happening in literally everything in our lives right now. Well,
I think if they reach like a month out and at whatever price point there's still not tickets not moving, they will. I mean, they will.
They always do that. Yeah. They always.
So it just or people, they really want people to buy both days. But chances are they might get people who buy like one day over the other. It just is what it is. Currently, let me look at the money trees on this. What's the cheapest price for Mania? And that's the dirt shit. Well, I don't want to call it dirt shit. The top of the sky is $266 to get in. I don't think that's bad.
No, it's not bad.
It's that price to get into a Knicks game.
People be looking at like floor seats, and I'll be like,
huh? Well, here's the thing: WrestleMania Saturday. Floor seats I'm looking at it right now. The highest price for these things, well, the best seats. Let me look at the best seats. Okay, obviously $16,000, but you can still get to the floor for $1,600, which I still think, considering all the price points, is pretty good. Niggas was taking out extra. You hit the Klarna on that real quick. You know what I'm saying? Paid off in a couple months, but these prices aren't as, I think, egregious as last year's. Last year's it was a rack to get in.
Yeah.
So
it'll go down.
It'll go down, and people will go. Like, ultimately, at the end of the day, but
my thing is, niggas is gonna flip it like, oh, L.
Yeah, but they've been waiting for that, Justin.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
They've been waiting. They've been waiting to say. Meltzer has been talking about the turn of WWE business, just because, I mean, historically, runs don't last forever, right? They always get a boom period, and then you have a low period. It peaks and valleys. He's been talking about it like it's been happening. And he said, and pretty much he equates the reason it didn't happen last year was because of John Cena's retirement. So we really got to take a look at this year and see what they go. But to be honest with you, they're going to pick a new gimmick to roll with for the year. Mm-hmm. There's always going to be new stars, new stories, new things, just kind of rolling with it. And it'll sell tickets. So I think for WrestleMania, I think we're in a better place now than we were last year.
1,000%. I feel good about the Rumble winners. I feel good about where we're going on the shows. I feel like I feel like a lot of the last year was anchored on the Cena thing and how it came and went, and we were not happy. And be clear, like, we were extremely critical of them last year. Yeah, extremely critical of them last year. I think we're in a better spot, but we're not out the woods yet.
No, not at all. I mean, last year, extended run, they pushed Mania back about 2 weeks. Everything kind of got pushed back by 2 weeks. Rumble pushed back by 2 weeks. Elimination Chamber got pushed back 2 weeks. The road to WrestleMania was longer. And just so many different things can kind of occur at this point. So it'll be interesting to see. If the advance is down 18%, it's just down to 18%. I don't think it's but then here's what I talked about it in a statement. He was like, I still think they'll fill it. And I'm like, so what are you fucking complaining?
What's the problem?
He's buying himself an out for the statement that he has regarding the ticket sales. Yeah. But realistically, like, I thought the same for All In last year. Early advances for All In, I was like, okay, y'all got about 11,000, but they were stuck on 11,000 for a long time. But ultimately, it's like, once you get closer to the event, they will sell more tickets, and they end up selling over 20,000, 23,000, whatever thousand tickets for the event. As you get closer to the event, but we're still getting closer to the event. Let them rock. You know what I'm saying?
No, never rock.
No, they'll never rock. It's a people have been writing the downfall of this to write the downfall of Paul Levesque and to write the upswing. To be honest with you, I don't even really want to bring them up. To write the upswing of AEW and really give it like there's, they can't match with the bank, but they can match with the creativity. And I think it's a much more exciting product and blah, blah, blah.
I'm gonna tell you what,
You know what I'm saying? Just is what it is.
Okay. Well, let's get into some real quick hits here before we get to kind of like a big moment here. I think we're going to have a lot of conversation about this, but Big E announces his retirement. Really, really lengthy and well done tweet the other day. Really sad. More than anything.
Yeah. I mean, sad. I feel like we knew it, but
yeah, I'm glad that he just, ripped the Band-Aid off. Like, stop lying to niggas.
I was like, when you got the haircut, I was like, all right, you got a haircut. It's a wrap.
Yeah, the haircut. And then you could just see that, he wasn't yoked.
Yeah, no, his move, just the way he was moving felt like he was very happy and fine with the way that his life was currently going right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think a lot of people, when you have a broken neck of that thing, a lot of wrestlers be like, I just got to figure out when I'm getting back. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Edge, or Stone Cold, all these other things, Kurt Angle, etc. He was like, I'm not really trying to risk my livelihood for this shit. to be real with you. But not his livelihood, but like his quality of life for this shit. Yeah. I'm not trying to become paralyzed for the rest of my life or deal with aching pains for the rest of my life or have to, we'll talk about it with the other guy, but live at that for the rest of my life. He was like, I'm kind of good right now. So he says, never say never, but as of right now, I'm retired. I believe him. Could we see him back in the future one day? Maybe for one-off, but I don't think I think he's just cool. But Big E was, to me, a very normal guy who ended up in wrestling.
Yeah. There was a time for Big E, you know what I'm saying? Like and I don't think he should hang his head at all. I don't think he is hanging his head.
Not at all.
He accomplished some really big things, and I think ultimately too, Meelz, like we got what we wanted from him, and that was him being the world champion. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a big moment. Now we waiting on one more member from that group to get it, so that all three could have gotten it. He's part of the longest tenured tag team ever, one of the best tag teams ever, longest reign. Well, was the longest reign before the Usos beat it. Like, but again, like breaking records, and that's two teams of color doing that.
Right?
That's really cool, man. So, yeah, it's sad, man.
Former guest on the show. He was a great time when we talked to him.
Yeah, he was on the show. Yeah, he was when he became champion, right?
I think it was. Yes, it was. And he didn't bring the belt, but he was champion when we did it. We talked to him. We talked to him about Mariah the Scientist and a bunch of other things. So good time. We love Big E over here on the A Show. Thank you for everything that you've done. I mean, we followed you your entire career, essentially. And we look forward to see what you got going up next. He's still there.
On the other end.
Yeah.
Bryan Danielson said, I ain't never giving up, nigga. He said, what I
love the hustle.
What Drake said on Family Matters, that nigga Cole losing sleep over this. It ain't me. That nigga Bryan Danielson said, nah, it ain't never over.
When I asked him, like, Bryan, are you retired? And he was like, nah.
So, nah, I'm just getting started.
Yeah, man. He commented, I mean, it was pretty lengthy comment. I don't think he wants to give it up now, or at least not in the way that he gave it up once. He doesn't really want to like let it go as easily again.
He should.
Well, I think he should. He talks to Justin Barrasso of Undisputed. He says, I don't close it off. In April of 2025, Adam Copeland, the original broken neck guy.
God. Come on.
That's my guy. Come on.
Him now?
I mean, that's my guy.
You ain't talking like that's your guy.
Hey, man. That's my guy. He got to unblock. I don't know. Whatever. We're in a
blocking you.
No. We're in a weird moment right now. When he has his new book and I go to the signing, we're gonna talk about it for sure. In April 2025, Adam Copeland,
Ricky Starks.
I'm gonna ask Ricky about him too.
Me again, nigga.
Ricky be like, I'll see you again. You ain't long for that company like I was. This man, edge nowhere, his bread is about to be buttered for real, for real. He's like, I'll run it back one more time.
I'm coming home.
That was scary, guys. I broke my leg. Jumping off a cage. At 50. In April 2025, Adam Copeland sent me to his physical therapist. He said the guy was a miracle worker. The guy worked on me for 2 days in a row, 6 hours a day. After the first night, I slept 9 hours straight. After the second night, I slept 8 hours straight. After that, I was sleeping 7 hours almost every night. That's a game changer for how you feel. I'm like, bro, this sounds miserable.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing, bro?
Your man's putting a whole shift on that neck.
The thing is with Danielson is that I feel like he went to the best place for him because he went to a place where no one's going to tell him no. WWE was going to if he didn't want to stop, they would have terminated his contract and made him, they would have put, you know what they do when they're tired of you? Like asking for dumb shit like that? They put you in the Hall of Fame. Like in order to stop him from doing whatever he was going to do, they put him in the Hall of Fame. Remember they did it Ric Flair. They put you in the Hall of Fame. They say, we are done with you doing these things.
They make him the GM of SmackDown.
Yes.
Like, hey, nigga.
When they are done with you doing these things and fucking up their rotation, they will put your ass where you belong. AEW does not have such things. They don't worry their heads with such things. So they have nowhere to put him. Absolutely. However, with Danielson comes these issues that he's always been having. And, you know, I shudder to think of what would happen terrible to him if they allowed this to keep going, right? But I would imagine that they're not going to let him wrestle anymore. There's no way.
I can't imagine it.
Absolutely not.
AEW probably will, to be honest with you. If they like, yo, this one doctor said for one night only, I could rock.
You saw Paige say that she lost her love for the business in AEW.
Hey man, we're about to have a discussion on that. But
that's what I wanted to. All right. Well, speaking of AEW, let's get this last piece out the way. AEW has been signing mad women, and I said when I saw that, I said, why?
Yeah.
Why are they signing more women? They barely use the ones they have.
Yeah, they said he says, according to this, Fightful Select, Sean Ross Sapp says, AEW is continuing to expand its roster and sign more talent to the company, noting that more additions to the women's division will be made fairly soon. Sapp would go on to reveal that there are a number of talents currently signed to AEW that have not been made public as of yet. People are speculating, of course, the Iconics, because their TNA thing has gone up. They were not in the Royal Rumble, as they probably shouldn't have been. So one would expect with Grand Slam Australia on the way that they may potentially make an appearance and announce that they are all elite.
They're afraid of their potential?
I can't. Why? They're not AEW wise. If you wanted to get the like we don't sign just former WWE talent out of nowhere. They were terrible on NXT.
They need characters. I think that's what it is. They saw Harley Cameron kind of worked.
Mm-hmm.
They need big moment coming from me here. I'm actually not too mad about this particular thing. Calm down. Okay. They need characters. You know what I mean? Like they need people to kind of bolster this show. And I'm not mad at them attempting to find these characters with the Iconics. I am not a fan of the Iconics. Let me just be perfectly honest with you.
I'm a fan of Billy Kay. Shout out to Billy Kay.
But we'll see how that goes. That's as far as like the other women they're planning on getting. There aren't enough hours on their shows for all of these women, so I don't know how they're going to do all of this.
They essentially, in the last couple months, they've signed like Persephone to that dual deal to AEW CMLL, and she's an ROH. They've signed. Who the fuck else they signed?
You don't even know.
I don't know. The girls that remember the girls that took the job and the other girl
High End
in Maya World.
They
find them. Haven't seen them in weeks. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Damn.
Just let you know. Haven't seen them. I'm sure they're there. I haven't seen them.
Damn.
They got the new tag team. They taken what's it? Alex Windsor, and there you go.
And Diesel.
Alex Windsor and what's that lady's name with the red hair? Jamie Hayter.
Yeah, they're a team now.
Yeah, so they're a team now.
I saw.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't give a fuck about the roster. Let's move on. Ricochet was the main character last week.
He sure was. We talked a little bit about this on Patreon last week, but now we're bringing it to.
Yeah, because he kept going. I think that's why he thought that was it. Well, last week we mentioned that he said, WWE kills the legacies. of the sport.
Oh no, he said my
my love of the sport. But then he says WWE kills legacies. And he said, look at who was the fucking names?
He said Shinsuke Nakamura, Finn Balor, Apollo.
They basically like they hate their jobs now. They hate it there. And then he said I think that El Generico was a bigger legacy than Sami Zayn. And I was just like, all right, like there's a moment. I know this is your man's. I'm coming off completely unfiltered, gloves off here.
Sure.
There is a point where it's like you need to shut the fuck up, right? But there's also another point where you just need to delete your account altogether, okay, and just get offline. And I start to worry about his mental health because these are tweets and comments that strike me as someone who be hiding behind anime avies on Twitter and can just say whatever the hell they want to do. This is somebody that I severely worry about, and I don't even think this has anything to do with WWE. But like, how many concussions has this man had? How many?
Wow.
There's no other. I'm sorry. There's no other way that I can formulate an idea of why he's doing this. No one else has done this. Nobody else has done this, Meelz. No one has done this.
So I'll just say this. These are words from a man who truly feels like it doesn't matter to me because I'm never going back. So I can say what I want to say, do what I want to do, because ultimately at the end of the day, I'm not going back. I think you talked about, I mean, especially when the release happened, we talked about Ricochet and kind of like his use or lack of use or lack thereof. And, we all attribute it to essentially like, come on, he wasn't really great on the mic. He didn't really have the full package. Like, who are you really going to put him over when you have people on the roster like Logan Paul and Bron Breakker and all these other people that are coming up and et cetera, et cetera. And, I agree with that in a sense. Sometimes you got to leave, not necessarily to show them, but at least get the opportunity somewhere else to at least prove that you're able to be capable in this situation. He has said that in his own right. I do think there is a level of I feel like there is a level of trauma with the WWE thing.
From him?
I think so. Personal trauma.
This
isn't something I've discussed, but this is how I feel, right?
That's fair. You spent 10 years there. I'm pretty sure you've seen and done things. But I think the issue is Meelz is like no sugar, not even a sugarcoat his, anything. Like that's your experience. That's not Shinsuke Nakamura's experience. Like, and it's deeper.
I fully agree with that.
Even with the trauma here, even with the trauma response, so to speak here. There are things that he says, Meelz, and he does, picking on Javon, all of that stuff. It comes off as high key jealous. It's jealousy, right or wrong. The Javon shots from last year was weird.
I don't know if it's necessarily jealousy as it is like, I think ultimately his beef is not even with Javon. It's still with the WWE, because I think he fully feels that his time there, his advancement as a talent, his everything, his love of wrestling was essentially stripped away one by one. Wasn't his thing. He was told at certain points he couldn't wrestle. He couldn't show up on TV. I remember specifically there was a one point, I think it was after his SummerSlam match with Logan, the next week he was on Main Event, and then he was just off TV until the Rumble. So there's certain,
but there's a huge, to me in my eyes, there are huge intangibles that you don't mention there when you talk about that. You know what those are?
What are they?
That feud wasn't very good, and he did not look the best in that feud. And in which case they tried it and it didn't work, and it ultimately was a net negative. But it was a net positive for Logan and getting him over as a heel. But in making the next babyface for Ricochet, he showed us nothing.
So I think
him showing up on main event, I was like, yeah, fair.
I think his love for wrestling and being able to want to do it, he feels is stripped away because of the terms of his contract with the job, where they dictate when you wrestle. They dictate when you're able to do anything. They dictate when you're important or not.
So does AEW.
Absolutely.
So does AEW.
I agree with you. I agree. I 100%
like
agree.
AEW says, hey, take this title we just made up for you and you never defend on our actual shows.
Because there are a number of people in AEW who have had the same problem. Ricky Starks, Penta, Ray Phoenix, all types of other people who have had the same issue. It really just depends on where the grass is greener. I do think in this instance, there's a level of trauma with his thing in WWE where he feels like he can no longer go. I think it's a lot stems from his new place where they give him all the opportunity to shine. They tell him how great he is. They massage how great he is. They say you're a great talent. You're a great wrestler and you deserve to be treated as such. Because even when Will Ospreay was like low-key openly courting him, because the comments are online. I see a guy like Ricochet, he's one of the best wrestlers in the world. And, he's never used and and he was one of the killers. And now, blah, blah, blah. Like,
you got him.
Yeah, you got him.
And now what?
But there's a lot of trauma behind that. And then even when his exit and then his wife's exit and then all these other things like that kind of build up.
But to me, here's my thing to all of that. Here's one thing to all of that. Go to therapy, nigga.
But that's ultimately I'm saying I think he needs to move on. You don't work there anymore. There's nothing that you talking about this doesn't advance your character on television even the slightest because you can't even bring it up on television. So there's nothing really beneficial about doing this. There was Meltzer put out a rumor report that people backstage were internally outraged because of his comments. I don't think anyone gives a fuck because they still got to go to work and they have a job to do every Monday and Friday. I ultimately don't think at the end of the day, someone who chose to leave, they wanted him back. He chose to leave. His contract was up. He chose to leave. There's nothing that they can do about it. They wipe their hands of it. It's unfortunate. And this is what I try to necessarily explain to him online as well. I said, it's unfortunate you think that way about the own art that you put out, that you feel like it's less worthy just because of the place that it was at, instead of the work that you actually did. Ultimately, at the end of the day, when I look at his matches in WWE, a lot of them I like better than the matches in AEW. He has yet to have a match of the year candidate, 5-star classic, really in AEW as of yet. But I think a lot of the work that he did in WWE was incredibly strong, even despite the shortcomings that they felt that was there, which was his mic work and all that other stuff. He was clearly a very talented wrestler. He is a talented wrestler.
Had one of the best tag team matches of all time on that NXT takeover.
I agree. One of the best matches with Gunther. One of the best matches with Sami Zayn. One of the best.
But here's the thing, Meelz. Like, and you promoting right now. You promoting.
I'm promoting because I think it's
promoting because that's your man's.
But I think it's whack anyway. I thought it was whack when Punk did it.
I know, but we crossing over into. I feel like we crossed over into the fact where we're not really holding him to the fire for the shit.
No, but I thought it was whack when Punk did it too, because Punk said I stepped away from pro wrestling and I thought that was whack too. I was like, how are you just gonna run over all the stuff you did in WWE?
Absolutely. But what Ricochet's doing, and what's interesting that he talks about legacy here, is that he's actually fucking ruining his own legacy. Because if he doesn't do any of these things, everything he did in WWE gets looked at with more reverence than it's being looked at right now. You know what people bring up when you talk about Ricochet and WWE right now based on his actions? The time where he was on NXT and Melo and Trick slapped his ass upside the head verbally on that promo. Mm-hmm. Or when Drew McIntyre slapped his ass upside the head verbally, and they used that against him. So everything that you said about his talent there and what he did there, it's overridden because of the sour grapes that he has. Because there are people that know, like you said, that he did great things. But he himself is saying, no, I did nothing. I did way better things in a lesser position in the company I'm at right now. It's like going from a Fortune 500 company to McDonald's and saying, I'm doing great washing dishes and cleaning the floors. It looks crazy. That's why I wonder about his mental health, because you look fucking crazy doing this shit.
Mm-hmm.
His legacy is actively being fucked over right now as we speak. He is not in the big places and the big positions that he used to be in WWE. And that's fine if you don't want that anymore. That's fine to walk away from it. I don't not when you left, goodbye. Cool. You did what was best for you. And now, like you said, Meelz, move on. It started out as storyline and him trolling, and now it's kind of sad. And is actually actively fucking up the opinions and the attitude that people have towards him, to a point where no one wants to hear him talk. He actively gets X-Pac heat online. I've never seen that.
I think so. I mean, to be honest with you, I think in my opinion, just as a professional, there's just be certain things you're kind of above. In my opinion, one of the most cringe, irky things is when I hear actual wrestlers using the term fed bootlicking, fed mindset, fed thing. I'm like,
that's why I'm like, bro, there's no way he's not like.
But it's because
it reminds me of people who go to MAGA. It reminds me of people who go to MAGA. Like, he has been activated in a very, very strange way to talk and speak like this. It's crazy. Not even the world champion talks like that. He be saying some wild shit. I mean, granted, he about to go. About to go over there. He about to go holler at them over there. But like, be real. Like, it literally makes no sense for him to act this way. And even if he does eventually world title it over there, it's still, you just have the stench of those comments that you're making, and all of the hard work that the people in the company you currently work in right now, they probably would love to work with you and do things with you, but you're like toxic. You can't stand beside the guy, Meelz.
I think they love that shit over there, to be honest with you.
And some of them might.
I agree. Some of them might. Some of them probably find it cringe, because I don't think no one really goes about their business in kind of that way. And again, I say this I say this knowing that he's like, I'm never going back.
Cool.
I don't think that's fully true. But I think right now in the mind state, I think 10 years ago, Punk said, I'm not going back to that shit. I'd rather enjoy my mental health and all these other things instead of doing that.
But I raise you this: Ricochet ain't CM Punk, and people actually wanted him to come back.
I understand.
I can't say that people actually want Ricochet to come back at this point.
This is less of demand and more mental mind state, in my opinion, of just like, let time do its thing. And I think you'll realize the importance of every step in your career, whether you got the opportunity to do whatever you wanted to do or not. When his man, Akira Tozawa,
when it's time for Akira to step up and do his thing, he steps up and does his thing.
Right. And I'm not sure how he feels about, oh my God, I'm thinking every week. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's not like he left. I'm sure he had the opportunity to leave, and he was like, nah, I'll stay. It's fun over here. I get to do this. I get to be things with my family. But I don't agree with saying the stuff about the Balor and Shinsuke and Apollo. I thought that was tacky. I thought killing legacies and love for the sport, and saying it's what they do best, when ultimately all of these guys have became bigger stars in their own right. Even you, I think if AEW exists, what he wants to sign, he probably goes to AEW, but I think you end up in WWE eventually. And then I also think WWE provided you the platform to be able for you to get paid and be able to be positioned as you were in AEW. Like, all of this is not for naught. None of this happens for no reason. If Finn Balor really wanted to leave, he would have left 2-3 times over already.
He could have. I mean, he practically.
He almost did.
Yeah, he almost did. Practically, his last extension was like, I'm staying. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the same thing that they try to attribute to like AJ Styles and things like that. It's like, it is unfathomable that even beyond what the company believes in and what they represent, in other ways, that people would actually like enjoy working there because they like the people there. And I think that like it's the one thing that I kind of get confused by, because I'm like, man, you guys work, like, unless you're like on Twitter all day, like you work at places that like that. You know what I mean? Like you work with people like that. Like what are you saying? Like this happens literally everywhere. Like you ain't making nobody put their money where their mouth is by keeping them at a job that they're at. You feel me? Like it's just the strange way that people kind of like project their own feelings onto these people that they don't.
I agree.
like ultimately, like,
and well, he does know them, and I'm sure they've had conversations about these things and all this other stuff like that. So I don't want to say he doesn't know them, because he does know them. But ultimately, at the end of the day,
you're making it hot.
Yeah, and these are other people's experiences don't necessarily follow the same as yours, to be honest with you. So it's interesting to see, but ultimately, I'll always wish Ricochet the best. Of course, that's my guy. But I do think it's time to move on. It's time to not really discuss. People are going to continue to ask you. Your answers have only morphed over the last 2 years, because at first when he got released, he was like, man, I appreciate WWE and all this stuff, but I'm just very excited to go AEW. And it's really morphed to this.
Yeah, you know why? Because what if mentally in your own head, you can't let nobody know, you ain't happy there either.
Well, that would be crazy.
Yeah, I think that's it for this week.
That is it. Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening. We're going to hop over to Patreon now and talk about Raw and SmackDown real quick. And yeah, you guys stay cool. Next week, we got more Elimination Chamber qualifiers. We should probably have the full range. No, probably in 2 weeks, probably, right?
Yeah, probably in 2 weeks. Next week's my birthday, though. It's a birthday.
Oh, it is.
Probably. I don't know. Whatever. We'll figure something out. I don't have any current plans, but I don't have not whatever.
I don't not have plans.
But it is what it is. I'll be 36. Ugh. But yeah, we have that to look forward to next week.
All right. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll be back next week with more on the road to WrestleMania on the A Show. For Meelz, I am Justin. We'll see you next week. Peace.